How's it going, everybody? My name is Warner Fields with Fields of Profit. I'm a mid-six-figure full-time Amazon seller, and in today's video I'm going to be walking through some of the exact reasons why your Amazon business might be making less money than you want it to, or even losing money. There's going to be some very specific things you can look out for, especially on Keepa graphs. We're going to be diving into some items where it might look like a great buy, but it turns out to be not a great buy, and that's going to end up making you lose money. I hear a lot of people talking about how prices are always tanking, their items are never selling for what they want them to sell for. So I'm going to be diving into some charts showing you exactly what to look out for on the items that you're purchasing so that you are able to make a much smarter purchasing decisions in the future and make more money on Amazon. If you are new around the channel or you haven't already checked it out, I do have a free Amazon seller Discord link down below. There's over 13,000 people in there sharing all kinds of great free information. I would love to see you inside. Let's go ahead and jump into the video. So as I mentioned in this video, we're going to be just diving into some Keepa charts right down here. I'm going to be showing you exactly what to look out for, some do's and don'ts as far as buying products to sell on Amazon. There's a lot of things you can look out for. I'm going to be ignoring the actual cost of these items. This is not a sourcing video. I'm just going to be showing you what you could look out for on these charts so that maybe when you come across a sale or maybe you have a wholesale account with some of these brands, you're going to be able to know exactly what you would need to pay for these items in order to remain profitable. So we can just go ahead and jump right into it. So the first concept that I want to talk about is probably the most important concept in any Amazon business. I call it the floor price, the minimum price that you are going to be able to reasonably sell the item for. In my case, I like to kind of just look at the Keepa chart and find where the item kind of sits at equilibrium almost. So where it tends to hang out, the prices, in this case, the price, it's very easy to find. The equilibrium, the floor price is right here at this like $17.50 price. Every now and then it'll go below that, so you can see how it went down to $17, and even up here it went up to $19. But we always want to make sure that we're okay with the item's profitability at the equilibrium price, that floor price. So in this case, when I'm doing my product sourcing, I'm going to be running those calculations using the equilibrium price here, that $17.50. So if I'm looking at it here, maybe I looked at this product here, I would not consider this product to be a $19 product. I would consider it to be a $17.50 product. And this is going to be somewhere that you're going to be able to really be able to make more money. So in this case, if you are buying this and it's only profitable at that $19 price point, you would need to make a different decision, because you can look back at this Keepa chart and see that the price is really $17.50. And one way you can also kind of look at this, if there's a lot more fluctuations than this graph here, is you can go to data on Keepa, and you can look at the 90-day average price for FBA specifically, and you can see that that equilibrium price is right about where I would call the equilibrium price. The 90-day average is $17.37. 30 days is or the current price, I guess. So that's not equilibrium price, but right here we've got $17.37 as that floor price. That's what we're going to be making sure that that item is profitable at. And the floor price, in this case, it's really it's easy to see here, but it can get a lot more complicated. So in this case, you'd want to look at this in your profit calculator, or I like to use SellerAmp for this, because this defaults to running a 35% ROI calculation. So when I'm looking for these items or I'm scrolling through product pages, I'm just glancing at this, and I can say, well, I probably can't find these 2.6 of deodorant for $8.26 all in, so I'm going to pass on this product because it's just not profitable. So we're going to go ahead and move on to some more complicated examples here, because you can see here, this one's super easy to identify. This one, this is just a very consistent product. Consistent products like this are amazing leads, and these products like this are products where I would tend to take a lower ROI threshold, maybe a 30% ROI threshold even, but 35 plus is generally what you're going to be looking for. But for this kind of consistency, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to kind of sacrifice some of your profitability there. But it's up to your own business standards in that case. So the next thing I want to go ahead and look at is an item where that floor price isn't quite as obvious. So we're going to go ahead and zoom out to the year here just to see where this price kind of defaults to. So it looks like the floor price, the lowest it's ever gone is this like $30 price point here. But in this case, I would say that the product, you'd be okay maybe considering selling it a couple dollars more than that, especially within the last little bit here. So maybe you're looking at this product back here. You'd want to be okay with this product selling for $30, but you zoom out here. Now maybe this gets a little more interesting. But the reason that I keep saying that you want to be okay with the product selling for that price is because you want to be sure that in the event where the price does return down to where so in this case it sells fastest at this $30 price point, you can see the sales rank drops every single time. The average sales rank drops every single time that price goes back down to $30. So that's kind of where this product sits naturally, sells faster. People are actually interested in this product at that price. You'd want to make sure that you're okay with this product selling for that. That doesn't necessarily mean that is your optimal profitability price point, especially on a product like this, where generally it has sold between like $35, $38. Here for a while it sold for $42, but it really wasn't selling fast enough here, so I wouldn't call this a $42 product at all. But in this case, I would want to make sure that this product is still even slightly profitable at $30. And then this is a major thing that I'm sure a lot of you are doing. You're looking at products like this where the price is $42. You're saying, great, this is a $42 product. I'm going to buy it for $21 or whatever that number would be, where it's that the profitability where it meets your profitability threshold. But you go back just a little bit and you see that this is really like a $33 product or even like a $30 product. So you want to be okay with it selling for that price, and you definitely don't want to buy the product thinking that it's going to sell at this all-time high like this every time, because it's just not. By the time you get that product in, other people have also seen this lead. So we can zoom out here, and it looks like when it was expensive, that new offer count started to go slightly up. I would expect this new offer count to continue going up until it kind of finds that equilibrium at $30 there. So that's kind of one thing to look out for. Here's an example of a product that I kind of like the graph on this. You can see here we've got this one's a little more erratic than that other product that I liked. See, this one here is just a straight line, super predictable. In this case, this would be one where I would want to bake in a little more profitability. I wouldn't take 30% ROI here. I probably wouldn't even take 35% ROI here. You can see how the floor price here was about $18, where it kind of sits naturally. Equilibrium is like $19.50, right around there, maybe even $20. So I would source this product if it's decently profitable at $20, but I would still need it to be, acceptable at $18, because it's very possible that this product is going to go back down to $18. And in this case, it looks like it's kind of at almost an all-time high right now. Not an all-time high, but it's pretty close. Back here, it was like $24, it seems. But it's $22 right now. So this tells me that some people are probably going to hop back on, unless this cup or whatever has gone, discontinued or whatever. But in this case, last time when that price went way up, there was about 11 offers on it. It started to fall as soon as more people saw that this product was decently profitable. People were jumping on it until right here. New sellers peaked right where the low price happened at $18, and then people started selling off. So here's a great example of a product where there's some decent volume here. This price seems pretty high for just a little cup here. It's got good ratings, got decent monthly sales here. So I'm looking at this. I kind of like this product. I want to be okay with it selling for $20, or I want to consider this a $20 product. I want to be shooting for probably a 40%, 50% ROI at that $20 price point. But down at 18, I would still need it to be profitable by a couple dollars, just to make sure that I'm never losing money on this product. But this is a super important concept, that floor price there. In this case, pretend that this product sells for $18. Are you okay with that? If the answer is no, then you don't buy that product. Very simple. And that can be applied to anything you're buying, and that's going to help safeguard you against the future. Now, granted, things happen, right? Maybe this product, maybe a ton of people buy it, and then all of a sudden it's a $12 product. You just can't predict that. But if you look at this chart and you see that it's gone profitable, and then a bunch of new people come on, and now it's $18 again, you're like, well, history repeated itself. I guess I should have learned from the past. So you can learn from the past before you even buy the item. You can look back, see that, oh, okay, this could be an $18 item. Am I okay with that? Yes. All right, let's buy it. So that's kind of how I would apply that concept. I do want to show you kind of a caveat to that rule here. This is an item. There are some caveats within, maybe like seasonals, or in this case, this was like a Christmas toy. This was an item where typically Amazon is on this item. They're selling it a lot. But you look back at this Keepa graph here, and back in the past, every time Amazon sells out, it goes for like 65 bucks, like immediately. This is a fairly new Lego set too, so a lot of times you will get some Lego sets, like I guess you can see a little bit here back last Christmas. So something I was looking at this Christmas was some toys and stuff like that. Some Amazon to Amazon flips is where you're buying things that are in stock and then you're waiting for high demand seasons. So in this case, you want to kind of bake in that risk, but back here last Christmas time, it was retailing for 50 bucks, but then every time Amazon went out of stock, it was immediately selling for $80. This is kind of the one exception to that floor price rule that I just want to add in here. So in this case, I'm looking at this product, it's selling for 40 bucks all year long. Last Christmas though, it was going for 80. So I was actually able to sell some of these for this $80 price point. I think I ended up selling them merchant fulfilled for like $78, $79, somewhere around there, right in this peak right here, right before Christmas. So that's kind of one caveat I do want to add to this, is especially for Amazon to Amazon or like seasonal items where the prices fluctuate just naturally. Say Halloween decorations, Christmas lights, all that. The prices are just going to go up during the peak seasons. So you could be okay with sourcing those even maybe at break even before season, because during season those prices are going to go up and suddenly you're going to wander into some 30, 40, 50, even 100% ROI products. Just because you held a little bit, or you just used that knowledge. Maybe you're buying 4th of July supplies in June or May, and you're buying it at break even, knowing that those prices are probably going to go up due to demand. See, in this case, I was buying some of these right before Christmas, knowing that there was going to be some supply chain shortages. There's going to be some opportunities where Amazon's going to go out of stock on a bunch of this stuff. So I was able to buy some of these and then sell them at this high point, just based on some other reasoning, right? But that's kind of the caveat to this rule. But just kind of going back to this, always be able to identify that floor price, that price where your worst case scenario price. Are you okay with that worst case scenario price? If the answer is yes, you can fire the trigger, and that's one amazing way you're going to be able to make way more money selling on Amazon. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got a ton of value out of it. If you did, please feel free to add value to my business and hit that subscribe button. It's going to be down below. I'd really appreciate that. Feel free to drop any questions or comments, anything like that down below. I'm always happy to answer those, but I really appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you next time.